we have set another record. This time in what is believed to be the largest single-state immigration enforcement operation in our nation's history.
Tonight, rounded up, ICE detains nearly 700 undocumented immigrants in the state of Mississippi. Now the question of what happens to the kids, how a community is coming together to make sure children have a place to stay and food to eat. Now at 10, hundreds of people detained. It is the largest immigration enforcement operation to ever target a single state. Jade Balexa joins us now in the studio with the details. Jade?
ICE raided several companies across Mississippi this morning, all at once. Now, the operation took place and ended with nearly 700 people in custody. Wednesday morning, raids took place, surprising workers on site. But in the afternoon, U.S. Attorney Mike Hurst unveiled the details.
HSI special agents executed administrative and criminal search warrants, resulting in the detention of approximately 680 illegal aliens.
One of the sites was at the Petco Foods in Canton. Tony Frazier says he works there and saw what happened.
All of a sudden they're crying, and he's handing you a letter to give to his wife and his keys. You know, it's
Families are now trying to find their loved ones, like 10-year-old Stephen Matias, who's searching for his mother.
We can try to get her out so that she doesn't experience, she doesn't want to go back to the life she was back in her country.
The acting director of ICE says each case is handled on an individual basis.
Some of the parents that were arrested will be released. They'll be placed on an ankle monitor and be monitored throughout the pendency of their immigration proceedings.
This is an ongoing federal criminal investigation. Now, the U.S. Attorney said President Trump did not order this operation. Melanie, back to you.
PECO released a statement saying, in part, quote, "We are fully cooperating with the authorities in their investigation and are navigating a potential disruption of operations." PECO said their Canton and Bay Springs facilities will be open tomorrow. Now, the Department of Homeland Security says families of those detained can call ICE's toll-free hotline for information. The number operates in English and Spanish. The phone number is on your screen. Speaking of the families, following this massive enforcement operation, many children are left without a mother or father, and they have nowhere to go. Alex Love joins us now with how a community in Forest is coming together with a temporary solution. Alex?
Melanie, these children, some who are just toddlers, were relying on neighbors and even strangers to pick them up outside their homes after school and drive them to a community fitness center where people tried to keep them calm, but many kids kept crying for mom and dad. Fighting back tears, 11-year-old Magdalena Gomez Gregorio expressed to us her devastation being alone without her dad.
Governments, please put your heart. Let my parents be free with everybody else, please. Don't leave the child with cryiness and everything.
This came after ICE agents raided several food plants across Mississippi, arresting 680 people believed to be in the country illegally.
While we are a nation of immigrants, more than that, we are first and foremost a nation of laws.
But those children left behind and families impacted by each raid stress their parents and friends are good people.
I need my dad for me. My dad didn't do nothing. He's not a criminal.
The children I'm with right now, their mom been here for 15 years. She has no record, no nothing. A lot of people here has no record. They've been here 12 years, 10 years, 15 years.
For Christina Persolta, who's the godmother of two children whose mom was arrested, she's felt helpless watching all day as the boys wonder when they'll see their mother again.
He said that his mom is gone, that he's upset with Trump. He said he just wants his mom back. and they're both crying. They've been crying about all day since they got home from school.
But with the help of Clear Creek Boot Camp owner Jordan Barnes and other community leaders, the kids will have a roof to sleep under at his gym for the night with donated food to eat.
We're going to have bedding available for them, and we're going to get food for them just to get them through the night. And if they need transport to school in the morning, we can arrange that as well.
And in times like these, those in Forest, Mississippi stress you cannot forget the children going through all this.
I understand the law and how everything works, and everything has a system, but everybody needs to hold the kids first and foremost in their mind. And that's what we've tried to do here, is just give them a place to stay, just to kind of ease the pain just a little bit.
What happened yesterday is not the response to some demand on the part of Mississippians that these people be tied up and hauled off. Mississippi didn't ask for this.
Tonight, the response to raids across the state that led to nearly 700 undocumented immigrants being taken into custody. We are learning more about the immigration and custom enforcement raids in Mississippi. Now at least 300 people have been released, 30 on humanitarian grounds, and 270 more after they were processed by HSI at the National Guard base in Pearl. Now, this is Department of Homeland Security video from yesterday. 7 agricultural processing plants across the state were targeted early in the morning. ICE agents went in and detained 680 people altogether. We're also getting a first-hand look at the raid in Morton.
Mami, tu mami la van a dar, no llores así, mija. No llores así.
All right, so here's the thing, you speak English.
You can hear a girl crying, begging an immigration officer to let her see her mother. Then an officer comes out and explains the court process. He tells the family that the mother would be released that afternoon and added she would not be deported because her young daughter is an American citizen. The raids are getting responses from around the world.
Thursday afternoon, ICE announced more than 300 people they took into custody during raids across central Mississippi have now been released. They will have court at a later date. Now, groups including ACLU and the Mississippi Immigrants' Rights Alliance are responding.
They left to go to school yesterday excited about education, and terror hit them while they were gone.
Joshua Tom, the legal director of the ACLU, says they are taking action. They're calling on groups from around the state and the nation to help families detained by ICE.
Whether that's humanitarian services, taking care of children, getting children to school, providing meals.
Luis Espinoza is heartbroken and has been visiting the communities impacted by the raids authorities say were part of a year-long investigation.
And I don't see illegals. I don't see bad people. It's only families.
Yes.
Father, mother, who want something better for the kids so they come here.
ICE says when those arrested arrived at the processing center, cell phones were on hand so they could make arrangements for child care if need be. Now, if they weren't criminally arrested and had a child care issue, they were returned to where they were picked up.
We've worked with school liaison officers to help find placement for these children. Most of the times these individuals or these children will be placed with another family member.
Homeland Security employees were designated to contact schools in the area of the businesses being searched and given contact information in the event a child's parent didn't pick them up. But the Mississippi Immigrants' Rights Alliance says children were left to fend for themselves with no one home after they got off the bus or no one to pick them up in the carpool line. The Mississippi Immigrants' Rights Alliance says if you want to help the families, the number is on our website, WJTV.com. Melanie, back to you.
Thank you, Jade. The U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of Mississippi released a statement about children and the raids. It reads in part, quote, all those detained yesterday were asked when they arrived at the processing center whether they had any children who were at school or childcare and needed to be picked up. Now, schools say they were left blindsided by the raids.
It impacted not only the child on yesterday, we witnessed that. It impacted our other students who were friends of these the young people. It impacted their teachers, their administrators, the custodians, everybody who came in contact with these students on a daily basis. I have several staff members expressed to me today that they went home and hugged their own children.
We also spoke with Jackson Mayor Chokwe Antar Lumumba, who says this is a nonpartisan issue.
It is a gross display of humanity to me as a parent, as the father of 2 young girls, to imagine children arriving after their first day of school to a condition where their parents are gone from their lives. I think that we truly have to question where the soul of our nation is at this point in time.
While hundreds of people arrested after the raids have been reunited with their families, they now have to make things work with no income. Alex Love joins us in the studio with what one community is doing to help families. Alex.
Melanie, emotions are still high for these kids and their families. Those who couldn't prove citizenship are now left jobless as they wait through immigration courts. But Trinity Missionary Church is giving them hope thanks to donors throughout the community.
I do feel sad about the kids.
Mixed with emotions, 2 sisters were brought to tears recapping the moment they were reunited with their mother.
She was outside and I heard her voice and I started running so I can give her a hug.
Just one of hundreds of households trying to regroup after ICE agents raided food processing plants where they worked. We spoke to one worker who described the experience.
She said as they were coming in, entering the building, all they were doing is screaming. She couldn't understand what they were saying. They never touched them, but they were like screaming, and so they were all just walking, and like I guess the way they were screaming, their screams pushed them away in a line, and so they were walking straight. She was like shocked. She was stuck in shock. She didn't know what to do. She didn't know where to go.
But in the midst of their depression and struggle, Trinity Missionary Church and the Forest community are stepping in to help.
The church is so far just offering shelter, a place to come by for us to have this small center. The community's been great. I mean, it's been food and donations coming from all over the United States.
Walking into the donation room shows just how caring this community has been for the families impacted by the raids. When you come in here, you just see endless piles of food and other grocery products stacked to help the families make ends meet. And the Trinity Missionary Church tells us all the help just keeps on growing.
I feel happy. They do care about us. Thank you for helping us. I thank everybody that was always there for us. We've been working hard just to be here.
But for one boy living with his dad and uncle, still without his mother, Abelina, the temporary help can never fully fill his empty gap.
Some people say that they took her over there to Louisiana. And I want to know that if she's over there or still in Jackson. I love you, Mom, and I hope you stay safe.
Mother gets to hold her children tonight after she was released from an ICE detention facility. In a 12 News exclusive, Alex Love made the trip to see them reunited.
Following the largest single-state ICE raid in the nation's history, a brother and sister were left without both their parents who were arrested, but after 8 long and stressful days, they were finally reunited with their mother. Coming out of the facility by their mother's side, 14-year-old Eduardo and his sister, 12-year-old Joanna, were fighting back tears but holding their heads high.
I went to go hug her and I was happy that she was out.
She feels well. She feels very happy to be here next to her kids, that when she was inside, she was crying, not knowing when she was going to get to see them. But right now, she just feels happy to be with them.
Since August 7th, Anna sat in ICE custody, taken to the South Louisiana ICE Processing Center in the town of Basile. She described to us what it was like inside.
There's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of people in there that are crying for their children. There's a lady there who has a small child. She's just talking to people in there who are really sad about their children they're leaving behind, not knowing if they have something to eat.
Anna's situation, leaving her son and daughter with no parents for over a week due to her arrest, contradicts what U.S. Attorney Mike Hurst tweeted the day after the raids, claiming Homeland Security ensured detainees with children were released 1 day later, and they were unaware of any without a parent.
While we are a nation of immigrants, more than that, we are first and foremost a nation of laws.
Born and raised in Guatemala, Anna eventually migrated to the United States, where she's been the last 18 years and started her family. She tells us what kept her from going back.
Here, there's lots of things she can take them to eat, and over there, there's nothing for them. They're going to be malnourished. She's not going to be able to take care of them over there. So to think about the differences in lifestyle between there and here.
And many Mississippi churches and organizations are still pitching in to help with legal advice and donate food and supplies to help these families make ends meet until they await their court dates. To find out how you can participate, visit our website, WJTV.com. Reporting in Louisiana, Alex Love, 12 News.
Eduardo and Joanna's father, Martin, is still being held in a facility, according to the family's attorney. But now that their mother is out, the kids plan to enjoy their first family meal at home in over a week.